11:59, but it also says it's due at 11:59.
Don't worry about that. Somebody actually pointed my attention to that, and I
Okay.
think I went in and fixed that. It should be all right now. You should be able to get in there right now and upload anything you want. So if you go back in there now, it should be just fine. Let me know if you are still having any problem with it, but I think it should be just fine by now.
It's still closed for me.
Refresh your page, because the fellow that called earlier was able to.
I've refreshed. It's still.
For assignment 7.
Yes, correct.
Well, that's not possible. Yeah, that's not possible. Log out and log back in again. I'm looking at it right now, and at least one person in your class was able to upload and submit. So go back there and check it again. Either you log out or log back in, but you're definitely not looking at a refresh page. It's due at 11:59 tonight, but it's definitely wide open now for you to upload anything. Try it and let me verify with me to make sure that you're good. And please, there's a lot of there's some background noise. I'm just gonna say again, if you're in the class here, if you have a quiet environment, that's totally fine. You can leave your mic on. I kind of prefer to have everybody's. Oh, you're in the 108590. Okay. I went and fixed it for 108591. So I'm going to go back to 108590 and go ahead and do the same thing. It was a mistake. It was supposed to be left open. So I'm going to go in there right now and keep it open. Should be good now. So I did my best to kind of upload the video for 2 weeks ago. As you can see, it's okay. I just didn't have the bandwidth to be editing a live raw class. I tried to cut some thing off of it, but for the most part, it is as it is. How many of you guys were able to access the video? Were you able to access it? Okay, good. At least one person is, so I believe.
Yes.
So everybody else should be able to, to participate in that one. Okay, so I'm going to, before getting deep into what we have to cover for the class today, did anybody have question on what we did in the class last time? So last time we went into T-Shark and go over a couple of stuff, and that's a combined class, so I kind of expect everybody to be able to, speak to that. So that was, we went through how to use T-Shark, how to use T-Shark to analyze packet. We also went into a little bit of IP header, which is very identical to TCP header in terms of the method to analyze it. We showed how to collect packet on the network, which I think is very, very important for you, especially as far as this class is concerned, so you can be able to analyze this thing on your own, because a lot of the work you're going to run into is going to require you to have, that skill set. So having said that, I want to make sure that if you have any question, that I can provide some answers, to you on those questions. If you don't have any question, I've got a couple questions for you. But also, in addition to that, I also have information that I'm going to give you in terms of what you should be expecting for your midterm next week. I'm going to have us coming together and have a combined midterm so that we can all do these all at once, so that no group is going to have any advantage over another group. But I'm also going to try and spend some time in going over what you should potentially expect, you know, in your midterm. So I give a little bit of 1-2 more minutes. If you have any question on anything that we've done so far, this would be a good time for you to kind of bring it up. And what I will do is I will set some time apart to make sure that I cover those areas. If there are no questions, then I will essentially, you know, assume that you are ready for me to bring up any question that I might have. So give like a few minutes. If you have any question, this would be a great time for you to bring it. I promise
for me, I feel like, you know, I would want to ask a question, but I wouldn't want it to take time because I ended up leaving the last class that we had together. I had to like run to work, so I ended up not being able to.
You made the $100 card, gift card.
The what?
We gave out $100 gift card for everybody.
I missed out on that.
Yeah.
Oh sure.
We'll give
the week I don't show.
Yeah. We'll give our $100 gift card.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That was the last week. And there's no issue for that one.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
I'm very sorry to tell you that, but
man, I'm missing out big time.
Yeah. So if you have questions, don't worry. If I think it's going to take time, I can push it to maybe the first 30 minutes of the class, or you know, I can go over it and then probably say, okay, now let's take this offline, or you know, set up a time to do that. But so don't worry if you have questions, even if it's something that we've kind of like, you know, covered before. I would still say,
that would be great.
I will still say, still ask away, and then, you know, then we'll go from there. I would just say, if you ask questions, just ask, and then we will determine if we have enough time. If we don't have enough time, fine. Then we would kind of look out for what to do after that. So that would be my recommendation as far as the, you know, as far as the files are concerned.
Okay. All right.
So anybody else have question? Anybody have question? If you have question, I will just about on anything we've done, that'll be totally fine. I will take it up. So Claudia, go ahead and ask your question. So yeah, go ahead, ask your question.
This is to whom?
No, this is you. I'm saying go ahead and ask your question.
For me, okay, well, for me, just setting up to be able to, like, I remember when we were, you made it very clear, like, how to look at the you know, when you look at the header, like just how to count and just how to verify that your counting was right, like all this was making sense, right? And then you gave us like an opportunity to be able to go in and try it on our own. What I was having trouble with from the beginning was you were saying when we I think when we're to download it, to leave it in the C drive. I was like, so at the beginning when I was just trying to even, you know, start getting that done, I was like totally like, okay, like where do I leave this and where am I supposed to?
Okay, so let me run you through it one more time. So
like I said, other people probably get it, and so that's why I'm saying that I don't really.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I would say let's just let me run it through one more time, because obviously there are other people that will benefit also from it. This is the reason. If you ask a question, if I think that question is critical to your next meet, to the midterm success, I'll definitely try and go over it.
Thank you.
This is one of them, because it's in your midterm. I can just tell you that right off the bat. It's in your midterm.
Okay.
You will do a significant amount of your work inside this virtual environment. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And so can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Bueno.
Okay. So here is my system environment. I believe you have something similar to this. You've installed your Wireshark, and you've downloaded your WinDump file. And I'll point to where those two files are. So I created a folder here. I call it analysis.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what you call yours, as long as you're consistent about it. But here I just call this analysis. This is where I'm going to put all of my tools, everything. It makes things easier, just so that you can, so you can manage it properly. It's very, very important.
So then I don't have to be afraid that like adding like all this information inside that analysis folder and into the C. I don't have to worry that that's gonna take a lot of my like memory or anything like that.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to. It makes your work a little bit more organized, because you kind of have a place now to go, and you can just go to one place and view everything. So that is really very, very important. So in my case, I gotta create a folder. I call it analysis. That's where I put everything. All the files I'm going to work with in the class, I put it in there. My tools, WinDump, I put it in there.
Okay.
You understand?
Yep.
And remember, I told you when you want to download your WinDump, and I know most of you already done this one, but in case you haven't done it, you want to download your WinDump download. You go to WinDump download. I told you two things you have to make sure you do properly. You got to download these. Get WinDump, right? Very, very important. But also make sure, you download the, additional file, this WinPickup. See this? If you just download these and you do not download these and install it, you might end up having a problem down the road. But if you do download this and install this, and then download this, you should be good. That's what I went through with you guys in the class. Now, having done this, one of the things that I did, and you can do this too, and I showed you guys an example in the class, how to add something to the Windows part. I can show you again, right? I'm the one to be able to run these tools from any directory. Now, I'll show you something here, and it's going to be on video, so you can always draw a reference back to it. So here is my environment here. I'm going to just minimize this. All right. So here is my if I, from this place, type, I want to run this Windom. Now put it over here. If I just type this Windom, see, it's going to say Windows doesn't know where it is, which means I have to run this Windom from the location where it is. So I have to come over here and say, CD here, I'm going to say, go to analysis, right? And now if I run Windom, now Windom is going to run because I'm running Windom from the location where Windom is located.
Okay.
It is very important that I do that all the time. I've got to run it where it is. And one way to know it is there is to, if you just type the first two letters like WI and use your tab key to complete it. If you can't complete it, then you know you're not in the location where it is. Now, these can be okay, but this can also create some sort of a constraint for you when you're trying to, I would say when you're trying to run these tools from another directory or from a different path. So one thing you can do is to add this to Windows path. The reason when you run this earlier, when you run it from when you run Windom earlier from here, when they say I don't know, it's because Windows looked in the path and it doesn't find this utility there, or executable, or DLL. So I can come over here then and say, hey, I'm going to add this C analysis to Windows path. How do you do that? That's very easy. Right click this. Again, it's on the video, so you can go back and watch it. Go to properties, go to advanced system setting, go to environment variables, go to Windows part, and go ahead and do this. Type this, and then copy and paste. See? Semicolon, and then I added the part that I copied, C:C, Windows analysis. Click OK, click OK, click OK. So what I've just done is to include C:analysis into Windows part. So now I have to X out. Now, if you just type the same thing that I typed here before, it's not going to work because this environment is already loaded into partial memory. But if I open up another shell, and I'll try and open up another shell, it doesn't matter now if I run Windom, it's going to run anywhere. See? I don't have to run Windom now going forward from any path anymore. I can go to Drive C directory and run Windom. See? Windom will now run from anywhere that I am. That is because I've added the location of Windom into Windows path. So every time I run Windom, Windows is going to check in all of his paths that he knows before returning an error message. If it's already added to Windows path, he'll just run it. The convenience you have for this is that you can run, these from, a Windows path. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So that kind of makes things a little bit easier for you. Any question? Any question?
No, so far.
Okay, so you can go back and watch this video, if you want to see how I added something to Windows part. If you want to do that in your own environment, that's something that I encourage you to do. Just want to show you how to add this to Windows part. I went over this with you guys in the class last week when I was talking about T-Shark, and we're going to jump right back on that, very shortly. So one of the things we looked at is, how to do that. The other thing that I also had already gone over this with you guys already before is, IP header and TCP header. And one of the things I mentioned about the TCP header is the fact that, with TCP, you have, or even IP for that matter, there are a couple of things that you can do. You can analyze the header. And I said, it's actually going to be in your midterm. So for those of you that are not in the class last week, or I'm going to go over them again. I already mentioned that in the class before last week, but I'll go over it one more time again. You definitely want to have this printed coming into the class next week. You want to have this, actually you don't have to. It's already on your D2L here. If you go to, I think, to week, let me see what week that is. So if you go to, I think it's either week 4, let me go back to it and show you quickly. The files, Cincinnati. So if you come over to content, I'll go to either 3 or 4. I'll show you where that is. So go to this week 3 here. You have these already downloaded here for you. And you could download it and print it. If I were you, I would print it. It will make your life easy as you do header analysis. And I will ask you to do the traffic header analysis next week. So you want to kind of make sure that you give it a little bit of time to practice. So here are these 2 headers here, files that I have here. I'm going to take IP, for example, and I'm going to copy it into my virtual environment. If I were to give you, given a traffic, if I were to ask you to analyze the IP header, you could use your Wireshark, you could use your T-Shark, you could use your WinDump. I'm going to ask you to use WinDump for your midterm. And let's say you have a given file. I'm going to use 6 clients here. And I can come back here and say, I'll go back to my analysis here. And I will say my WinDump. And I'm going to ask WinDump to read 6 client. Now, you know, if I just go over it, it's just going to read it and it's going to take some of this time. I'm going to do something a little bit different though. I'm going to do this and I'm going to run the same command again. But this time around, I'm going to say -nn -vv. And this should go very, very fast. And I've explained to you why it's going very fast now. Because when I use -n, I'm saying do not resolve the machine name to the host name, the MAC address to the host name. Do not resolve the IP address to the host name rather, and do not map or resolve the port number to the service name. So, and that's why initially it was slower. When I run the same thing now, you can just see how it just kind of blew through by. Ran through everything in a very, very short time. That's not where we're going, however. What we're going is how to split this output into hexadecimal view so that when you run these, you can actually take a look at these. And for your exam, you've got to be ready in case I say, analyze, packet number 5, for example, on this particular trace file. Well, that's very easy. The best thing is to peg it into more, because more allow you to, count. This will be your first packet. With stealth. Here is your timestamp. Here is the IP protocol. And here is a breakdown of the header that I'm going to ask you to analyze. You see that? So here's packet number 1. Here's my packet number 2. IP here will help you guide you. Here's number 1. Here's my number 2. So you can count for yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, So you can see there is stuff over here, and this is number 5. So if I were to ask you to analyze packet number 5, analyze the IP header or the header information for packet number 5. You will get over here, here's my packet number 5, and you will take these one by one. Now, one of the interesting things you want to do is you're going to need to have this IP header information with you to kind of guide you. To be you could use this as some sort of a guide. And this is what you're going to use to break this down. And I kind of walk you guys through this in class, but I'll do it again today on how do I expect you to present your work. You present your work by taking a screenshot, and you want to do it line by line. So generally here, you want to kind of like break this down. So you want to say IP version 1. So if I was doing this, I'm going to say Notepad, or Notepad is not going to take a, let me go to WordPad. Right? So the first thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to type IP version. So take a screenshot like this. It's within the first 4 bytes. How many characters in hexadecimal represent a byte?
2.
2, exactly. So now this is first byte.
0.
So then, what do you mean by 0?
The 4 is the IP version.
Yep.
And the 5 is what you times the 4 by to get the IP header length.
Yeah, correct. And you can tell over here, so you can simply write something very easy, especially for your midterm now. I'm kind of assuming this is going to be doing for your midterm, and you have to do something like this. I would strongly advise you take a snip. Come over here and take a snip. I'm on the server here, so I don't have a lot of good software here. But here's what let me try my own home system. It's not going to be ideal, but I just want to show you an idea of what I expect you to do. So you come over here, you take, what is it again? So you come over here and you specify what you're analyzing. See that? You see how I highlighted this for 5? And then you can use an arrow. Do something better than mine. I'm just using it as an example. You can do this one. So you can do one before you do the other. Right? So, you can take a screenshot here. And I will come over here. Of course, yours is going to be, better looking at that. Just want to kind of show you what an example of what I'm looking at is. So then you've taken this picture now. Then you're going to say, IP version is 4. one-liner explanation. This is represented. This represent the first 4 bits of byte offset 0 as shown as highlighted in the diagram above. Then I will simply go back to IP header length. If you're not and I'll take another picture here and light it. Twist them around. I'll probably use something, take another shot, but this time around I'm gonna remove these. So here's what you will have. We'll go back here now, and I'll take a eraser, and I'll do, oh no, this one. Oh, this one. Okay. Let's see if I can use something. See how of course you would do better than this one. Then when I remove this one, I'll have something like this. And often, more often than not, you're reusing some of these things as time goes on. And since you've already defined IHL, over here you can continue just to define to IHL. Is 5 times 4, where 4 is, just copy this one, where 4 to 24 bit of the processor is shown in the diagram above. Just copy. I'm just giving you an example of what you would do. 5 represent the last 4 bits of byte of 0 as selected in the diagram above. So here I'm just going to say equals 20. So that'll be, you're doing this in the midterm, and I ask you to do breakdown, analyze the header. This is what you would do. You would take these, one by one. You understand what I'm saying? So you would literally take these things one by one. And if you do that, then you'll be good. Okay? Any question? If I want to go to the next one, I'm going to take this one as well. And only that this time around, I'm just going to say type of service. So and that's how you will go from one point to the other. You can even highlight your stuff here just to kind of distinguish it. And then normally take and underline it. Come over here as well, do the same thing. Bold, underline it. Go to the third one. You will just say type of service. All right. And it's represented often by, you know, QoS. And then you will take a screenshot, just like I did for the other one. Highlight it, and then explain what you did, or calculate what you did. You know, in this case now, it's just 0. 0 in hexadecimal is 0 in decimal. 0 is 0 everywhere. Then you take the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So that's what you will do for this one. Very important to know that you will be asked to do that. If I want to do something like this here, I'll go and do one more just to kind of give you a little bit more what this looks like down the road. I will come over here and take another screenshot. Take this one. And then come over here. Actually, I can actually come over here. So if you have anything to add here, second here, come back here, and there's my screen. And I can say type of service is 0. Okay, this is calculated by converting the X value in byte offset 1 to decimal. As shown below. So now it's just going to be like 0, X 0 equals 0. Done. Then you go to the next one. So come over here, then I'll highlight this one again. The next one is the total length. That requires 2 byte offsets. Byte offset 2 and 3. It's fine. Come back here. I'll take another screenshot. Set this time around. Our target is moving gradually something else. So when I come back over here, post it. A second here, I just want to make sure that. So that's total length. Okay. Yeah. Took a screenshot. And then total length is calculated by converting value, by converting X value in byte offset. What byte offset is that?
That would be 3.
3 and 4, right?
Right.
Yeah, 0, is 3, 38
Sorry.
is 4.
Yeah, 3.
That's correct. So I said converting x value 0030 or 38.
Or wouldn't that be 2 and 3? Sorry.
Yeah, 2 and 3. Yeah. Byte offset 2 and 3. Correct. So x value this is into decimal as shown below. Then you come back over here. This should be relatively very easy. You're simply just going to pull out a calculator.
How is it 2 and 3?
I'm coming. I'll show you.
Yeah, because 3 and 4 made sense.
0, 1, 2,
So
3.
because remember, we're starting from 0, right? This is byte offset 0. This is byte offset 1. So look at the diagram here. Byte offset 0.
Right.
Byte offset 1.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, we don't start with 1. We start with byte offset 0. Okay, yeah, sorry. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's just remember life. Everybody start out with 0. So just 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is that here. So then you come over here. Come over here. Convert to decimal here. So I'm trying to send something. Tao, you have a question on that? No question. All right. Okay. So here is where I am right now. I start with my hexadecimal. 0038. Convert to decimal. That'll be 56. So then you would then say, 0038. Sometimes it's better to put X in front of it, so that folks know what you're referring to, equals 56. And you already talked about what it is that you're trying to do, converting this X value 038 to 56. Then you go to the next one. So that's how you do one after the other. Your work is going to be a series of taking screenshots. Like I told you, if you practice this is the easiest part of your work because it's just repetitive. And there's nothing hard here other than for you to just relax and sit back and get it done. But that's only going to happen if you have been practicing it. If you're not, then maybe a bit, All right, so that's all I got for going over that. I hope I've helped out a little bit. Any question based on what I just showed you?
It seems pretty straightforward.
And remember that this is, I'm going to get the video of this one out, so you can go back and watch this video in case you forget what I just did. Does that make any sense? Any question again so far? Any question? Okay, that's no question. All right, let's take a 5 minutes break. Go and stretch your leg. I'll take attendance when we come back. And then we're going to go back and look at some of our stuff that we're yet to finish. All right, thank you guys. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Don't go away.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All righty.
All right, everybody back?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, any other question before I continue some of the other stuff I want to walk you guys through? If there's any question, please don't hesitate to ask. There are no bad questions. I think you know, most likely if you have a question, there's probably another 35 or 40% of the class with the same question. So no question is hard, is bad. And if I think it's going to take a while to answer the question, I will just take it offline. But if I think, you know, it's something you're likely going to encounter in the midterm next week, then I would definitely want to address it to make sure that everyone is on the same page. So that is the key. So if you have a question, please ask me. Otherwise, I'm going to say we continue. All right. So we talked about T-Shark last week, and I want to kind of dwell a little bit on that. I believe everybody's able to do IP header analysis, TCP header analysis without having any issue at all. So I'm going to go ahead and close this one. I just want to show you this one as an example, so you know how to type this. I'm going to close this, don't save, and I'm going to close this up as well. Close this up. And here I'm going to go back here and I'm going to type CLS, clean up this. All right. I showed you guys last week that your T-Shark has, your Wireshark has certain, you know, other utility in it that often we don't talk about it a lot. But I want to kind of spend a little bit of time on it today. And you can guess why. It's because it's in your exam. So I'll quickly walk over that. You go to your program files, you can see Wireshark. Inside Wireshark, there's a file called, several files, utility file, cap infos, and so on and so forth. If I were to ask you to analyze a given packet, so I'm going to show you something now. I have this file now, hacked host, and I've got inside hacked host. I'm going to go into the, let me even see if I can do that, ls hacked host. So inside hacked host, you see I got a couple of files in it. But, you know, I can say cap infos. Let me see if I can run cap infos. I'm going to run it from this directory. And let's see if I can get out there. Going, program, file, CD Wireshark. Oh, no, sorry. Go back here. CD Wireshark. So if I say cap infos, you know, if I like now, I can point this file to where the other one is, analysis, hacked host, and I can say mark off. If I target this, look at what I just did. If you can please help me mute your mic, that would be really, really awesome. You guys always make me work for it every time we have online class. You know, I'm beginning to think this is intentional. You know, it's like, you know, we're going to make Israel sweat it. You know, this online class, he can't get me. I'm too far away from him.
Come on, this ain't you guys.
I'm beginning to think that you guys kind of have a meeting before I get online and say, let's just take it in turn. You know, I'll do it first and then let someone else do it and just let's torture him. You know, okay, that's okay. I'll get you guys.
I have a chainsaw sharpening scheduled for 7:43.
Yeah, I know.
Amy.
All right, so let me quickly walk you guys through this. If I were to ask you in your midterm next week and said, analyze a given file, trace file. I mean, ask you a very simple question and say, when was this, you know, trace file collected? Okay, when was this trace file captured? You will use cap infos. It will be one of the easiest questions, but if you don't know what to do, it will feel like a very hard question. I want you to take notes now because you're going to find some of these questions in your exam next week in class. Okay, make sure you take note now. Okay, take this as a revision of what you're going to see in the exam next week. All right, so very important. Then you will just run cap infos against the file, and you will tell me this file was collected 2005. It's been a long time. See that? If I were to tell you how long was the trace file lasted, how long did it last, then you would just simply go ahead and run through these. You see when it was started, duration. So I'll tell you how many, you know, how many minutes. How long did it take in minutes? Then you will just begin to divide it by 60. So on and so forth. Again, just give you an idea of where to look at. Very, very important. Very, very, very important. Simple question, but it can throw you off if you don't know what to ask. If you don't know what to do with it.
Israel, why do you have 902 highlighted?
No, just accidentally.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. So it would be like, you said it would be like 4 divided by 60?
No, you know, this is in seconds. If I were to ask you to give it to me in minutes.
Oh, okay, sure, okay.
Just as normal conversion, okay? It's a simple question, but if you don't know what utility to use, is the one that kind of like make you wonder and say, what is this, right? So just write it down, write a note for yourself. If you don't write a note for yourself, you will forget. And next week when I ask you, you'll be too much under pressure that you will not enjoy it. And I want you guys to have a good experience with your midterm. All right. So note that somewhere. The next thing that I want to also remember
Sorry,
here.
sir, can I ask you a question? Are you going to post this video online?
I'm recording the video, so I'm going to try and post it online. If I can do that right now, if you can bug me tomorrow, I'll remember to put it online.
Okay, sir.
Mm-hmm. So the next one that is the T-Shack. And I think the T-Shack part is a bit important. I gave you guys an example last week of how to run T-Shack. T-Shack is often sometimes preferred than Wireshark sometimes for some reasons. Can somebody tell me a reason? Why do you think somebody will prefer a T-Shack over Wireshark? Anybody?
Less overhead.
Less overhead. Less overhead. Very, very good answer. Less overhead. Slight weight. You can get much done through it than you would through the other one. So it's very, very important for us to kind of have an idea of that, how that works. So very, 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 very good, important stuff. So T-Shack may behave differently, and as we see last week, when you're using command, DOS prompt versus when you're using, PowerShell, and that's because of the way they handle certain, parameters or syntax that they interpret it very differently. I'm going to give you a little bit of a different examples here, and you can go from there and begin to analyze certain things a little bit, look at it from a different perspective, okay? 1 second here, I'm going to move this up, and then we're going to try and take a look at certain elements here. And actually, I can do it from this environment. So I've got some file, and I will actually do what I did earlier on here, so I don't need to run it from this environment. I'll go to my analysis folder, and if I run my T-Shack from here, so I was able to run it. And the reason I'm able to do this from here, if you guys will remember, that is because I added T-Shack to my Windows part. I added analysis to my Windows part. You understand? You guys remember? And I show you guys how to add a part to Windows part. Now, if I run T-Shack here now, even though T-Shack is now residing inside this part, Windows already knows to check it. So it's going to look at it and it's just going to add it. So anyway, I'm going to check some things for you guys. We have some files here, some interesting files, to pick up and stuff like that. And some of them were stuff that we did, browsing the net, we had some file that I've already collected here today. That was in the other class and so on and so forth. There's a couple of things I'm going to try to do just to kind of show you what we can do with T-Shack. I can run T-Shack over here and then -R. When I use -R, that means I want to read, a trace file. And I can say Wednesday, run it through this one. And you can watch, T-Shack go by rather quickly. The memory of my system is not that great, so it's kind of appearing a little blurry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's appearing a little blurry. I don't think you weren't going to read it that fast anyway, even if it weren't blurry, but you will notice that in this kind of setting. Now, the thing I was going to also show you here is I can go on here and read and add a little bit more variable, to the file. Okay. One of the things I can do is to open a trace file and display TCP conversation statistic. How do I do that? I can come back over here and I can do -Q. Okay. And in case you're wondering, what is this? Just come back over here and do -H, and you will see all the stuff, all the options that you have. See over here? I can just be more standard on the quiet out. When I say -Z, let's see if I can show you Z here. Trying to see this usage include .Z. It's not here. I will just tell you what it does. So if I use .Z and I will try it over here to make sure, okay, this is Z, statistics. So I'll come over here and I can say -Q, -Z, and what I will do over here is to say conversation, comma, and TCP. Now you can press enter here and you can see what it does. It just shows me the conversation and the TCP statistics. Now, in Wireshark, how would you look at the same thing in Wireshark? You just come over here in Wireshark, and I can go to statistics here. You understand? I can go to conversations. And you can see, anytime somebody gives you a trace file, conversation is one of the tools I like to go to because it lets you see who is talking a lot on the network. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Right away, without doing much, if you go to IP version 4 here, if I have IP version 4 here, you can see all the talkers. See IP address, you know. If you want to see their MAC address, then you can see actually it's just a few machines talking. You know, looking at the IP address, it looks as if they are a lot. Look at the MAC address, not so much. Okay, and you can see who is the most talkative, who is talking the most. You can use this one to see the most talkative in the environment. That these, conversion between 10.128.0.6.1 to this guy took the most time duration on this particular, network. Somebody, you have a question?
Yeah, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the IP going to be just the like actual original source, but the MAC address is going to be what it came through most recently? Or am I?
Yeah, you're right. Actually, what you see here really may actually, depending on the layout of that network. Let me see if I have a diagram here. I would love to show you a diagram. What you will get with that really may depend likely on the way the network is kind of set up. See if I can, my PowerPoint will come up, I'll show you. I mean, it's just not coming up. So anyway, what I want to show you is the way your network is laid up really does matter. Let me see if I can show you page. So if I have a router here, don't mind my drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if this is a guy that's browsing, and let's say this is a web server, right? If this guy entered the IP address of this guy here, IP address of the web server, goes through this router. Now, the destination IP address will be the destination of this. You understand? But the destination MAC address, which is the hardware address, will be just this router. You understand? If you are collecting your trace file, the destination MAC address will be that of this router, and the destination IP address will be that of the web server.
Cool. I was just making
sure. If you are here collecting the trace file, the destination for the most part will be that of these, and destination MAC will be that of this router, and the destination IP will be that of here. Now, something will change though because then your source MAC will be that of this place. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Your source MAC address will be that of this place. And your source IP address will still be that of this guy here. When you move right here, for example, your destination MAC address will be that of this one. The destination IP address will still be that of here. Your source MAC address will be here, and your source IP address will be that of this guy. Now, if this router here were to be a NAT router, what is going to happen now, you're going to have a little bit of variation here, because what's going to happen for a NAT router, your source IP address will change. Your source IP address will not be that of this guy anymore. Your source IP address will be that of this router. Your destination IP address will be that of here. Destination MAC address will be that of these, guy here. And of course, your source MAC address will be that of this guy. So overall, let me simplify it for you. Throughout your journey across the internet, your destination IP address pretty much remains the same. Your source MAC address changes as you cross one, router to another. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Your source MAC address is never the same. And your source IP address kind of remain constant, except when you run through a NAT router, because the function of the NAT router is, of course, to mask the source IP address, among other functions.
Its function is to do what?
The function of a NAT router is to mask.
Did you say
Is to mask. M-A-S-K.
RK?
SK.
Oh, mask. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. You
Okay.
understand?
So in a way, is that like
Go
for
ahead.
security reason?
I'll say that again. I didn't hear you.
Is that to keep it hidden for like some kind of encrypting in a way?
Well, that could be it, but for the most part, it's because it's for management purposes for the most part. Although you can wrap it around, you can make a case for security, but really the goal is for management. Your home router is an example of a NAT router, right? You have a bunch of people using one single IP address to go to the internet.
Yeah.
So when everybody's going out on the internet, they're using one IP address to go.
True.
So the router just kind of keep record of all the, various private IP address to one public IP address. So really, it's not for security. For in this case, it's just management.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
So what you see here really depends. It took this thing so long to open. We don't know when we need it anymore. So what you have here really depends on where you're taking this traffic. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the reason I came over here was just to kind of show you what I was doing here when I ran this command. I'm saying I want to see the conversation, I want to see the conversation, and that kind of really, show you what you need to see. All right. So other stuff you can do with Wireshark, with T-Shark, and I'll clear this off. I'm going to go ahead. Somebody's asking a question. Let me see. Yeah. So one thing that I will also show you real quick here is let me see if I can bring this up. CMD. Layout. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. Increase the size of the font so you can see what I'm typing. I'll change my text to yellow. No, it's still not big enough. looking to kind of make it look a little bigger, but let me try this. That's what we have. Oh, oh my God. No, this font looks really awful. Can you guys see what's on my screen? It looks very tiny on my side. Almost extremely tiny.
I
Let me-
can
let me
see it,
try this.
but I have a just ridiculous monitor, so I'm a bad example.
It's tiny. I mean, it's pretty small.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just trying to kind of see if I can make this look just a little bit better. There's got to be something to increase here to make it bigger.
It would be the font tab.
Yeah, I did that. I mean, I'm on the last.
The maximum. Yeah.
Oh. No, you're not. See, you got go back to that font tab and yeah, you
Okay,
can do
now you change it
24.
now. I think with this one, I think this is the problem.
Yeah.
Let me try Lucas here.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to test how old you guys are.
Old.
All right, so
Old as dirt.
Oh,
Old.
all right, so let's look at this. So I'm going to go into the CD analysis now, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing that I used to have been doing earlier on. I'm going to focus on some of these files here. And then I'm going to say T-Shark, make sure it's running, and it's running. So perfect. I'm going to clean up this page. So I'm going to have my T-Shark here, and I'm going to say I wanted to read these files here. And there's a couple things that I can actually do. I can ask it to look for certain files and then write it out, provided I know what I'm looking for. I can say look for, let me go back and see what I have in here, just to be sure. I've got TP tab. I have some files in there. Okay, I'm going to open it because I want to show you something real quick here. There's this file. Let me check some things. It's got a bunch of GIF and PNG in it, so that's fine. So I can come back over here and say, hey, here's my T-Shark. I wanted to read this file called 2pcap, okay? And contains, see now, you know, I'm beginning to use what I will call some sort of a regular expression. I'm saying read this thing and see if it contains maybe a PNG files. Now, how will I know PNG files? I wouldn't know, but I can go back and look at the signature of that. So if you go to file signature, write this one down. You're going to need it tomorrow or next week. Write this one down. Go look for file signature, Gary Kessler. And if you were to come and see something that has a PNG, you would see 8950, right? There's something you would see here. 8950, 4E, something like this, which is great. You know, so I'm going to come over here and just kind of copy it. you know, you can actually tell this guy to write it out. But before I do that, sometimes maybe it's a little bit more beneficial for you to see how I can actually use these to search for your file. And in case you're wondering, how am I going to remember this? I actually had put this one on video, and I believe I shared it with this class last week. This is the link, I believe. I had a link over here. I promise you. So I had a link that I showed you guys here, and it's more than just one link. I think I have two links here that I included. Let me see if I still have. I will make sure to add these for students who are in 90, because I shared this link for those who were in the 91 last week. So I'll go back over here.
This is 91.
No, it is a combined class today. So I just want to make sure that I pull out a T-shirt for you. And I know it's somewhere there. Here is it. Copy link address. Make sure. And you can click any of this file. You will see exactly, you know, at length how I showed you how to use, you know, T-Shark. It's got some fun stuff there. It's got some, you know, some not too fun stuff that is just a little bit, you know, boring. The key thing here that I want to show you, and I'll explain to you where you will actually find the key element that I want to show you, and I will show you exactly what issues you're probably going to have. Go back to this one. This is a little bit shorter. One second here. I'll give you the, so spend a little more time on this video, and you can actually mark, you know, this one down. Starting from the 13th minute, you know, you will find it to be the most valuable for the midterm. Okay? Write it down so you don't forget. I want to make sure that you're maximizing your review time, so you're not necessarily, you know, copying things that may not necessarily be of value. You will find these, where is this video again? Did I just finger it out? If you go to the 13th, yes, you will find these the most valuable. Start from, you know, you can start from like 10 minutes to the video, but between 13 and 15 minutes of the video, that is the key thing that I want you to key into that. Okay, key into that. And for all practical purposes, I'll probably just focus on just this one. Maybe I'll just hide this other video. They are the same thing, but I think I like this a little better. All right, and I will type the same thing just so you could see what I'm about to do in our experience over here. Here, I'm going to do something, but I want to kind of, restrain just a little bit on that. The key thing that I was doing over here is what I'm about to do over here as well, but just a little bit in a more unique way. The key thing here is to specify Y, which is what I will use to filter, and I'm going to say HTTP contains, then the file signature. Let's go ahead and try it so you can see. Come over here. Like I told you, use this -H here to see the meaning of some of the stuff that we're going to be using. -y is something you would get used to over time. Where is -y again? I'll show it to you. Is display filter. I just want to I'm telling Wireshark to only show me certain things. All right. So using my display filter, I'm going to type this, and I'm going to come back over here, and I'm saying -y here. Quote. I'm saying HTTP contains, and here now is what I did earlier on. PNG. Look at it. I look for PNG, and I'll come back here, and I'm just going to paste it. But watch this. I'm going to separate them by just colon. And then when you're done, and double colon here, right?
You might want to catch that typo in contains.
Oh, with an
I just want to see if you guys are paying attention, that's all. Yeah, thank you. So I can say dash right over here and type this. And just like that. See? It tells me this file has a file in it called a picture file called PNG. Did you see that?
It contains a
So,
file that's called PNG, you said?
It contains a PNG file, it's a picture file,
Mm-hmm.
just like the JPEG or whatever.
Right.
And how did I know? So if next week, and most likely I will do that, I'll give you a bunch of folder and I'll call it unknown. See, I'll call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? And I will also give you a list of files. PNG, JPEG, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to ask you to determine what kind of files are here. So I may give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'll say these files are suspected to contain JPEG, PNG, credit card, and so on and so forth. Determine the content of the following file. I'm going to give you a list of files. I will try to give you a list because I don't want it to be endless, because there's endless kind of files. And I don't want it to have to search for 2,500 kind of files. So I'll just keep it to like 320. So then you will determine what kind of files are consistent inside this particular file and what is the packet number. For example, you can tell me, oh, there is a picture file, the PNG files inside this place, right? You can search for JPEG as well. Does it have JPEG file? If it's got it, then you can determine that. If it doesn't, it's pretty easy for you to determine, so well, it doesn't have PNG file. And you can tell earlier on that I was able to kind of find it over here by just kind of like querying the Wireshark with it. But this is one of the reasons you could use this guy. Now, you can do that. In this case, I printed it out, but you can also say -write and call it png.pcap. -w means to write. You understand? -w means to write. You're trying to write, you know, the content of that file. That's one of the things you could do. In this case, we're not trying to write anything. We just want to kind of, you know, determine the content of this particular file. So I want you to be, you know, ready for this kind of work, you know, next week, and be willing to, you know, easily, you know, attack it. Should be relatively easy, but you want to know how to go about it. They're relatively straightforward, as I've said earlier on. Just have to kind of get yourself familiar with, you know, with the navigation of it. And you can tell it's got one PNG file. But if you're looking for GIF, just come over here, GIF. See, here is your header for GIF. I will have just copied this. The first 4 should be enough. Then I will have come over here. Then I will have removed this. And I will have done this. And if you were to tie this, see, there are 3 files in this trace file, 3 picture file, 3 GIF picture file. You understand? Can I find out if it has a JPEG in it? Oh yeah, I know JPEG file signature often is very common. FF, DH, FF, E0. See, it doesn't have any JPEG file in it. So you can find anything in it.
And that we could also find on Kessler's site.
Oh, absolutely. You can. Everything I'm going to give you is going to be on Kessler's site. I can say JPG. See? FFDS, FFE0 is there. I wouldn't give you anything that you couldn't look up the signature file here easily. I can look in the heart and go to 1. Let me look inside these. Make sure that I got. Oh no, sorry. Unknown. Trying to see if I can, without having to specify everything. Let me check my part here. So I think I'm specifying a part that doesn't exist. And this part obviously exists. Oh, sorry. I've got 2 folders inside 2 folders. That's why. See, I just ran through the first one and realized it's not there. I'm just giving it easy tips for you because you can easily, if I say, look for if there's a JPEG file in any of this file, just run through it like this, take the 2 here. Instead of you running it and then run another command, just run it one by one and just come over here, check the part. Oh, it's in number 3. JPEG is in number 3 pixels. See what I'm saying? So once you kind of write one signature out, try to run that signature through all the files at once. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of writing one signature, run it through one file, write another signature, run it through the same file, write another signature, run it. Does that make any sense? Write one signature, run it through all the files. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it makes your work a lot efficient. That way you're writing the signature one time.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you find it, just write a piece of paper and say, okay, JPEG is in there, take a screenshot. I can go back to my number 4 here. Nothing is there. Go back here. See, nothing is there. Done. You just done. You just got done like, okay, you know, JPEG is in, there are 3 JPEG files in the third trace file. You use your screenshot to provide your evidence, and that's it. I will test you using this T-shirt, using this skill next week. I'm going to ask you to analyze IP and TCP header, and I expect you to be able to do the other stuff that I just showed you.
Say that again, please.
No, I said there are 3 things that I'm going to expect you to be able to do, and I think we kind of like walk through them tonight.
Right. Analyze the IP and TCP headers.
What is
And
the
then
first
using the
question you
wire.
asked? The question you asked too. Remember you asked a question earlier at the beginning of the class? What was your first question?
Well, my first question was that what we did, right? We already went through it with the analysis of the header.
And that's of the header. So it'll be relatively not overwhelming, you know, or it'll be relatively very easy, straightforward lab. I'm not going to test you on everything possible right now. We're going to do that a little bit down the road, but for now, I want to just focus on T-Shark. Anything that can come with it, make sure you get really, really fluid. Watch this video that I put up here. Where is the video? This one. I'm gonna have to open up another. So watch this video that I put over here towards the end of these files here, and kind of run through them. I'm kind of a little bit tempted to want to go into the hacked traces file and begin to kind of do more additional analysis, but I'm going to resist that temptation right now. Because
But the videos, oh yeah, there's one here. Okay.
That's for the one last week.
So that's in which week? That was week 5.
That's 2 weeks ago. That's our last second to the last minute. So
week 5. Week 6.
Yeah, if you go to week 5, you'll say there. So that is really what I'm going to cover. I'm going to ask you to analyze the IP header, TCP header, and I'm going to test you using T-Shark. I'm going to ask you to use T-Shark to analyze the content of a file. I'm going to ask you to use T-Shark to look for credit card. Which of these files contains a credit card? Which of these files contains this type of file? Get to know how to use Gary Kessler, and your midterm should be relatively the lab part of it. The quiz part of your midterm is kind of already posted there. Remember that we have this midterm practice. All of the question is coming from here. All of the question. Hold on 1 second here. Hold on 1 second. Actually, let's take like 5 minutes break. I want to make sure I kind of look look up my stuff and make sure that I get you any information that you might need. Let's take 5 minutes break, and then we're back together again.
Alrighty.
Okay. Yeah, I think the only thing that we have to learn now is how to use the Reg EXR site so we can look for credit card strings in wire T-Shark or PCAP packets.
Wow.
So, what's going on? I just got here.
Oh, hey Derek. Nothing. He's teaching us about T-Shark, how to use it, and that's it.
Interesting.
And he recorded the video too.
Based
so
Wireshark.
So there's a video on D2L then that I need to watch?
it's gonna be this video. It's gonna be this one.
Okay.
I just started paying attention.
What's that, Tab? Desi. Desi, your music's on.
He just muted it.
Oh.
Well, you could turn it back on. I mean, we need some music. What happened to the music?
So is Israel even coming back, or does he just have this open just to
Oh, he'll be back in 5.
On a break right now.
let us putz around or something?
Let us putz around.
Bless you. So what was covered so far? Just like basics of whatever this program is, the T-Shark?
Add that to it, and add a lot of other things to it. So somebody, somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it. So I'm taking on China. I'm taking on China on.
What?
What in the hell?
About time you played some music.
All right, let's get back here. What's going on?
Oh, we're just waiting.
Biggie Smalls is going on.
No, yeah. Trump is giving a
What?
speech.
Oh, okay. Do we have another mic that went off again?
Yeah, you could say
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Like an alarm.
Don't know if you're saying anything, but or if it's just my headset, but everything just went silent.
No, I don't hear anything.
Are we supposed to be able to hear?
Hello? Are you out there?
All right, sorry, I got
There we go.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, I don't know, my phone just went off, so I have to kind of reconnect again.
All right.
All right, back now. So I'll say, Christine, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, well, okay. I'll be very quiet all night. So just want to make sure that.
I am out and about. I'm on the road.
Okay, all right. Okay, cool. All right. So those are the things I want you guys to really focus on, during the midterm. Now, for the midterm quiz, I want to make sure I cover these, very well, so that because I want to make sure you guys have a, good, midterm experience. Here's what we are going to be doing. Can you see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. There are two sources where your midterm quiz is going to come from. One is going to come from here, and the rest is going to come from your past quizzes. Okay? So review all the past questions from midterm practice questions here. Go through that and review all the past quiz that we've already done. You understand? you can see most of these questions, they are relatively very easy. Most of them are true or false, very easy stuff. All right. So go through this and go through the past quiz that we've already done. That's where your quiz is going to come from. Ideally, here's the way this is going to work next week. When we come in, I'm going to ask everybody to do this first, the online quiz. That way, when you finish your midterm lab, you can just be going, because I don't want this, I don't want everybody to be waiting for somebody. So that you do this first, the online quiz, which is going to be closed book. Your midterm is open book. So your midterm lab is open book. You can bring your notes, you can go back to the video, you can do whatever. Does that make any sense? So your midterm lab is open book. Your midterm quiz is closed book. So we're going to do the midterm quiz first, and then after that, we're just going to jump right into the lab. The midterm lab is going to cover 2 items: analyzing IP and TCP header, and I've given you an example of how to answer those questions here. The other one is T-Shark, using T-Shark to analyze content of the network traffic. Watch those videos I posted, and you guys are going to be good. All right? Any questions, guys?
Hey, during the
Barbara?
midterm, if while we're doing the lab part and we have a question, will you help us?
If it's a question on how to answer the question, no. If you have a kind of a clarifying question, yes, I will. If it's a, I know you're, yeah. But you know what? If you just go through this video, especially the one I showed you tonight, and the one I posted on week 12 or week 7, you won't have any question.
No, that's not ours.
You won't have any question.
Is the midterm next week for both classes, 91 and 90?
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna meet up in the class. We're all gonna take all this together. It's gonna be one big happy family.
So then we'll review the videos from week 5 and this week, right?
Yeah, and I've covered everything in this video for this week as well. Even if you weren't in the class last week, what we did in the video today kind of cover everything we're going to be touching in the class,
Sure.
for the midterm. Yeah.
And then the past quizzes is
past quizzes up to date, and this practice one here.
Okay. And isn't like some of the past quizzes, aren't some of the assessment questions that we had been working on, don't they kind of review those?
I would say no, just focus on this practice, midterm practice question here, and the past quizzes. That's it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Just this one and the past and the past quiz in the class.
And that would be quiz 1 through 7.
And like I said, these are mostly
1 through 8.
Mostly
1 through 8.
Yes. Any question?
I have a question, but it's
midterm
not.
And quiz, midterm practice question and past quizzes. Past quizzes. Question?
How many questions will be on the midterm?
You probably should be expecting around 75 to 85 questions.
And will it be curved?
Will it be what?
Curved.
Will it be curved? They'll be as straight as an arrow.
Yes.
Well,
you wouldn't need it to be curved, to be honest with you, because I think you would not even need it to be curved. The reason I say that is because, there is no question there that you would not have seen before. If you go through this should be the easiest part. Multiple choice, go through all your quiz, and you're probably gonna, begin to be a cakewalk. The one I wanted to spend a little more time to practice is just this lab, T-Shark, and even that is straightforward. You're not gonna, and to be honest with you, all your question is gonna revolve around unknown, files. Remember, I already gave you this file already. Where is it? I'm gonna exit out of here now. I've already given you this file. So if I were you, that's what I'll practice with. These unknown files. See these unknown files? That's where your T-Shark file is going to come from. So if you're in 108591, go to week 7 unknown files. I'll go to 90 as well to make sure it's there in case you want to practice with it. But more or less, that's where all your T-Shark file, questions going to revolve around. And the other one is IP header stuff. So I'm going to make sure that I got these. Okay, I'm going to pull the file because I'm looking in week 7 here, and I can't find it for the 90 class. So I'm going to pull it over there. Call it on. So this unknown file, I'm pulling it down right now so that I'll add it to the 90 class as well. And that is what, practically that's the file you should practice with as far as your T-Shark is concerned. And, there should not be any surprises at all.
And those unknown files, that's when we're looking for the content of a file kind of thing, right? Is that what those unknown files are connected? We're looking for those file signatures?
And it's also in the video. So you couldn't get it wrong.
Right.
So I've added it to, to 1090 as well, so everybody have a copy of that particular file. You will see that in the video. Somebody's asking a question that, are you going to look for how to look for credit card? And I was saying it's already in the video. You watch the video, you will see it there. So that's a good question that Lorenzo is asking. How do you look for credit card? It's in that video. And by the way, that's really an easy lookup, but you wouldn't need to because I treated it in that video.
Sounds great.
Any other question? Again, remember, go through all your past quizzes that we've done so far, and also go to these midterm practice question. That is where all your question is going to come from. See, for the 90 class, only 3 persons practice these. See, I can tell. So that means you have a lot of work to do. So there's not enough in 1085 class, 90 that have practiced these. So there are about 9 people in the 91 class, but only 3 people in this class have actually touched it. So I'll let you guys go, and let me know if you have any question, okay?
Alrighty, thank you.
You guys have a great week.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you guys all in class next week. Thank you, bye.
Alrighty, bye.
Bye.
What video was it that was, or what week was that video in for the credit card lookup? Was that week 7?
Yeah, I think so.
It's in week 7. Week 7.
Okay.
Week 7. The T-shirt video. That's what you want to look at.
Okay. I thought.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
No attendance today. Attendance. Attendance exercise. No attendance exercise today.
Because anybody that doesn't attend this class today is going to see himself in class next week. Remember, next week is midterm. So there is enough incentives built into this class. Anybody that's not in the class today, I'll get them next week. You know, so I don't have to.
Maybe I missed.
I don't want to punish twice. You know. So if you miss this class today, you better have a friend in this class. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask about assignment 7. The Dropbox says it's going to open at 11:59 and close at 11:59 tonight.
I think I fixed that. Somebody called my attention to that.
Earlier.
I fixed that.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe I fixed that. My apologies on that. It's a mistake that I did for both classes, and I think I got it up for now.
Can you fix also the next one, please? The next assignment, because it's going out.
Is it the same thing as well?
Yeah, the next one.
Really?
Yeah, if can you fix it, please?
Thank you. Yes.
All right. Thank you. I'll do something. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.